Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Evening Buzz. We are now on the fifth show of the first week, and tonight we will be talking about some personal development. My name is Davison, and I'm coming at you from Fresno, California, and got my business partner on the line.
My name is Paul Charron, and I'm kind of stuck behind a bunch of books, Rod, and I think that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight, right?
Yeah, where are you? I can't quite make out. It looks like you've been a little busy today.
Here, let's just make a little bit of room here so we can slide in, and then we can talk a little bit about why all the books. So, how's it going today, bud?
Man, it's going awesome. How about you?
Great day today. It was a really, really good day. Beautiful here in sunny Las Vegas. I think it was almost 70 degrees here today. It's crazy. It's like t-shirt weather.
Well, it was pretty warm here today too, as well. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know here in Fresno, at least, we haven't had any rain this year whatsoever. None. Zero zilch.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's the driest year. I think it's actually the driest year since they started recording.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's crazy. Well, for our friends from the Midwest and Northeast, and from my friends in Canada watching, sorry, don't know what to tell you. It's beautiful here. One of the guys was posting stuff on Facebook today about trying to get out on a motorcycle, and I said, "What are you talking about, man? It's 21 degrees Celsius here." And I won't tell you what he told me after that. But
I'm sure it wasn't very nice.
Right. So, damn Canadians. So, personal development, Rod. Why do you think it's so important to I guess not only to business I guess personal development isn't just about business, right? It's about your total commitment for life in general, I think.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's just personal development. Really, it really feeds your brain, I think, and it really helps it to encourage and look at life and business and your energy and your outlook on life and everything else. It just it really feeds the brain with good stuff. Really, I mean, that's really the bottom line. I think with personal development, it just really helps you to grow and look at things a lot different and have a much more positive outlook, I guess.
I totally agree. If you've got your head right in your business, your head will be probably better at home with your family. And if you're good at home with your family, it'll translate to your business. And I agree. Your energy level as a whole is up. Everybody's had those days where when you say to somebody, I feel down, it's those days where your head's down and you're kind of breathing shallow and you're just not your best. And then you have those days where you're up and things are bright and you just are a lot more productive on those days. You can put up with more stuff. So if you have things going on in your life, you're much more able to handle issues. And so that's why you and I both obviously work on this stuff a lot. And folks, don't get us wrong. You're going to have those days where you don't feel like working. And one of the cool things, obviously, in the home business industry is if we have one of those days, I can go out and jump on the motorcycle and take off. Or, whatever it is you want to do, if you want to go bowling or if you want to go skydiving or whatever. So everybody has those days, but it allows you to have more up days than down days. I'm sure anybody who's working in an office knows that all these people moping around and they're depressed all the time, always complaining about their job, always complaining about the life, and always complaining about the government, and it's complain about everything because they're not in that right frame of mind.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I mean, everybody is going to have those days where they just don't feel great. You wake up, you get out of bed, and you just don't feel right. For whatever the reason, people just have those. I know, I have those days once in a while, and I'll throw in a Jim Rohn CD, and my whole and complete attitude changes for the day. Or I'll get on a Google Hangout with Paul that's been listening to Tony Robbins for the last hour or something, and he's all wound up. I mean, it just, you surround
It's
your people
infectious.
around people that do personal development and listen to these motivational speakers, and it you can't help but be absorbed by that.
Right. You feed off that positive energy. So, folks, just so you know, the type of, you know, I did not like school. I was not a reader in school. I hated it. I didn't want to read my English books. I didn't want to read math books. I didn't want to read at all. And I think at the time a lot of that was because it just wasn't stuff I was interested in. And since then, I mean,
That's
I
why
do
you left school in 11th grade, right?
halfway through the 11th grade. Yeah, I wasn't having it. You know, it just didn't fit. It just didn't fit my way of learning. And I went years and years and years before I read again because I associated reading to those things that I didn't like to read. And so for me, reading was painful. And as I started to get more into personal development, I started learning to like to read again. And I don't just read stuff on business, and that's the one thing that we need to express is that, you know, I just got a variety of books here. I've got books on network marketing, Succeed and Grow Rich, which is part of the Think and Grow Rich series with Napoleon Hill, Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell, Maxwell, Laws of Leadership, Laws of Success, E-Code, Biology. I mean, I've got books on a book called Freakonomics, which is an awesome book, by the way. It's kind of economics mixed with numbers and how that works, and very, very cool. The Millionaire Next Door, almost everything by Donald Trump, almost everything by Robert Kiyosaki, Warren Buffett, everything. So it's a variety of stuff all across the board, from business to personal development to a little bit of everything. And those are things I never would have done before. Now, I also do a lot of audio, and guys, I'm showing you this stuff, but Rod has an enormous collection as well. Every time I think that I've got something he doesn't have, he whips out from underneath the desk, and he goes, yo, you mean this stuff? So he's got an enormous stack of books that he's done. Now, you're going to have people that go, I don't like to read. You don't.
Guilty as charged.
What's that?
Guilty as charged.
Right. But what do you have? This is audio. Full CD set of Tony Robbins here. Another full CD set of Tony Robbins. And all those books that I have in books, I have in Sales Dogs, Conspiracy of the Rich, Financial IQ, which I guess they were just talking about over on the leadership journey that Rod was just on. I've got stuff from Steve Jobs. I've got stuff from Kiyosaki, The Compound Effect from Darren Hardy. I've got audios all the time. Rod, your car. What is your car?
My car? I have two of them. One's a truck.
No.
One's a little car, and they both of them have different audios in them. So every time I get in my car, it's a classroom basically.
It's a mobile library, right? It's a mobile classroom.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I don't hardly ever listen to talk shows anymore. You know, the stuff that, all you hear is negativity stuff. Once in a while I'll throw on some classic rock just to kind of get in the moment, but most of the time, I got, Jim Rohn is obviously my favorite speaker, and I probably listen to him more than anybody else. But I mean, I got Zig Ziglar and a couple others also that and I got these little quote books right here that I use all the time. Here's Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn here, and I also got one from Brian Tracy. Here, Brian Tracy.
Yep.
So
Brian Tracy, believe it or not, dude, Brian Tracy was one of the first people that I listened to back in my truck driving days. I had a day where I was just not feeling good about trucking and how am I going to do this, and I looked down I tell this story all the time. I was sitting there having a coffee, and I looked down the row. I was sitting up at the bar where you can sit up. What do you call it? Sitting up at the counter, I guess. Yeah. I'm looking down there, and here's this guy, his eyeballs hanging out of his head. He looks like he's been awake for 4 days, and I was going, wow, this is going to be what I have to look forward to. I'm like, this isn't going to happen. And I went
Yeah.
into the store where they have all this books and stuff for truck drivers, and they actually had cassettes. So that kind of dates me a little bit. For those of you young people, cassettes are like this big. They go into a player. It's got a little tape on it. So
Was that after 8 tracks or before?
yeah, that was just after 8-track. I don't even know if they had this stuff on 8-track. I'm sure they did. But I went in.
I really dated myself there, didn't I?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're old, man. Well,
I am old.
I thought there's got to be some way for me to. I was like, I'm in my truck. I can't really read unless I'm stopped. So maybe there was something I could listen to. And there happened to be a Brian Tracy cassette in there, and it said Brian Tracy, personal development, blah blah blah. And I don't remember what it is. I wish I still had them to this day because it's really cool. I do have some of my old cassettes, but that's what I started. It's Brian Tracy, dude. So I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of those guys really, they have their own little niche, but it's really kind of funny because you hear a lot of these guys, and a lot of them are taking stuff right out of Jim Rohn for the most time. I mean, you really see, Tony Robbins worked for Jim Rohn for a while, and a lot of his stuff is based on a lot of his stuff, and yeah,
he is probably one of the most least known speakers outside of the the network marketing industry that has had an influence on everybody. And you're absolutely right. Any speaker that you hear speak nowadays, it doesn't matter who they are, you hear them quoting Jim Rohn stuff from 30, 40 years ago because he was that good and he was that inspirational, and they tout him as the one of the greatest business philosophers of our time. So pull open your book there, Rod, and maybe give a couple examples of stuff that Jim Rohn talked about, or maybe there's some of your favorites.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's one that I just popped open that's under lifestyle. It says, learn how to be happy with what you have while you pursue all that you want.
Right.
So that's just, a couple of my favorite ones really is, I don't know exactly. What's that?
Let's talk about that one for a second, though, because that's really important for people to understand. It's okay to want more out of life. I want more out of life. I want, we've talked about it all the time. I have huge goals and dreams. One of Lori and I's goals, Lori and my English is freaking horrible, dude. Lori and my goals is to live on a cruise ship. It's actually a ship that has 165 condominiums on it, and it's called the World. And that is one of our goals, and we don't want to live on it permanently. We want to do a couple years. It travels around the world. It goes to various ports, and it requires a certain net worth to get on that boat, and it's something that we're striving to do, and it's something that we're striving to get to. But we're pretty happy with where we are now. So I think that's what he really means is it's okay to want to be somewhere else and to have more, do more, be more, but you also should be happy with what you've already got because, it's probably a lot further along than where you ever were. A lot of people, they're kind of pissed off at the world. They don't think that they have very much going on. But if you really look back, a few years ago or 10 years ago, your life is probably much better than it was back then. And if it's not, well then, hey, we really need to talk. You've made some bad decisions, and that's okay. We can still move forward. So that's a great quote. I love that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's really easy too, because if you're not happy with where you are and what you have, it's going to be really, really, really almost impossible to get to where you want to be.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Absolutely, absolutely. So hit us with another one, or do you have one that you like?
Yeah, I mean, one that I really like is, it goes something like this where, it's not about the money that you make. So, one of his main goals was he wanted to become a millionaire, right? So, and it wasn't, it's not about getting to the $1 million. It's actually what it makes of you to make the $1 million.
That's awesome too. Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
The person that you have to become to earn that amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you if you get on a roll to make $1 million, you're going to be changed. There's just no question about it. It's impossible to stay in the same exact state that you're in right now, making 100 grand a year, and then you boost it to $1 million. You're going to change your mindset. You're going to change your state of mind. I mean, your whole life is going to change because you're just going to be, so much more knowledgeable on all sorts of aspects. So.
Yeah, no, that's a big one as well. Absolutely,
Yeah.
You're gonna have to learn some skills to make $1 million. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
And a good example of that is think about. And I was telling one of our guys this last night. We had a new guy sign up last night. We were talking about that. I said, think about all of the pro athletes, the movie stars, all these people that all of a sudden are multimillionaires, and then they're broke in 3 to 5 years. How does that happen? It's because they're not developed enough to know what to do with that $1 million. They don't have the skills to keep it, which means they probably didn't have the skills really to make it in the first place, other than the fact that they were great at a sport, or they were great at being an actor or an actress or whatever it was. But they didn't develop that personal. They didn't develop personally the skills of the person that can. It's a word I'm looking for, but they didn't develop that inner skill that allows you to keep that amount of money. They're just wasteful. They don't know what to do with it. They mismanage it. And we talked about this the other night in the tax deal, that it's okay to have accountants and attorneys and all that kind of stuff to help you with that, but you still need to know how to direct them. And these people don't know how to direct them. They have people managing their money who squander it away, and then they're broke. It's really sad.
Yeah, and I mean, Jim Rohn even talks about that in some of his stuff, where he was a millionaire by age 31 and he was broke by age 33 because
Right.
he didn't know how to manage that money. He'd go to buy something and he'd say, well, how many colors does it come in? I want them all.
Right.
And you just kind of you end up you got to be prepared to have you got to have some knowledge behind how to manage that $1 million, because you can lose it just as fast as you earn it. That's for darn sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cool. What else have you got there? How about something from Zig? Zig Ziglar is another one that he's huge in the sales circles. I mean, See You at the Top is one that I think that is big. Very well known in the sales guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I kind of interrupted you. I got excited here.
Go ahead.
Because the page that I actually opened to, it's kind of funny that you mentioned the top, because it says, remember, there is plenty of room at the top, but not enough to sit down.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, and there's a whole, and I don't know if it's him or Jim that talks about how there's a whole lot less room at the bottom than there is at the top, really. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people at the bottom. So why do you want to be in that space when you can climb to the top where there's a whole lot more room?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's great. Yeah, See You at the Top is actually the name of one of his audio seminars. And it's just a phenomenal seminar, very sales-based, Zig was, but a phenomenal speaker, sounded a little bit like a Baptist minister. What's funny is a lot of these speakers do.
He doesn't sound a little bit like a Baptist preacher. He sounds exactly like a Baptist preacher.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And even and Jimmy Rohn has that kind of tonality about him as well. That the speech, the way he talks, and stuff like that. So, but Jim is fantastic. I love his stuff.
I mean, I kind of like Jim too, just for the fact that he. He throws a lot of humor in between some of his stuff, and it really keeps everybody. I think it really keeps everybody engaged.
Right. Right. What else have you got for us there? Pop open another one.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's try a Brian Tracy quote here. Let me just flip through a good page here. Let's see. All right. Let's see. How about okay? Ask for what you want. Ask for help, ask for input, ask for advice and ideas, but never be afraid to ask. And that's a very, very good point. You should nobody knows everything about everything, so you got to ask questions and help develop. I mean, Paul and I do that all the time, with each other and everybody that we're engaged with. I mean, you got to always ask questions to, our minds are always moving 90 miles an hour, so you got to sometimes your voice and your mind have a hard time catching up, and asking questions for people that are there, that have been there, and learning from those people is, you just can't get anything better from that.
That's a great point. Is that you want to get around people that have been there or are doing what you want to do, and you want to take a lot of notes. There's somebody that talks about if you're bragging about being the smartest guy in the room, or if you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to find another room. You cannot develop if you're the smartest guy in the room. You need to be putting yourself in a position where you're not the smartest person in the room, that everybody around you is on a much higher level, and you need to pick their brain. You need to find out what they're doing. You need to listen to how they're presenting themselves, listen to how they speak, and again, listening is huge. Taking notes is huge. Being the smartest person in the room is not a good thing. It's just not.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got kind of kicked off for a second, but it looks
you got dropped off. Well, you know me, I'm long-winded anyway, so I was.
You didn't even notice?
Probably don't notice. I noticed you pop back up there. Your one of your things is one of your screens is dead, so I'm assuming you need to put your lower third up there again too. So, but you need to find a room where you're not the smartest person, guys and gals, and you need to ask questions. That's huge. Always ask. Never be afraid to ask. Of course, there's that other one too that says there are no stupid questions, just stupid people. But
that's right.
but that's not true. I mean, if you don't ask the question, you will never get the answer. There's never an answer to an unasked question. So how can you expect to know what you need to know if you don't ask? If you stand there looking at somebody who you know has the answer for you, and you don't just say, "Hey, I need to know, how did you do that?" And that's a really important question. We talked about that the other day as well. A lot of people will see you'll be standing on a street corner, and a Ferrari or something pulls up, and you'll hear people whispering under their breath, "Oh, lucky bastard, rich asshole," whatever it is. Pardon my French.
Beep.
But yeah, sorry. Pardon my French. There's no beep button on here, so people need to, instead of that thought process, you need to go, "Hey, pull that guy over. How did you do that? How did you get that? How did you, what skills did you develop to get to where you are today?" Don't be down on people that have more than you have. You don't have to be envious of them either, but at the same time, why not find out what they're doing and develop whatever skill you need so that you can improve as well? And it might not be about the car, it might not be about a better house, but everybody, I laugh every time I hear people go, "Well, I just do this business because I just want to help people." And it's like, that's garbage. You're doing this because this is about the money, and it's about making a life for yourself. That is about the cash. Yeah, after you make the cash, then you can do whatever you want. Sure, it can be about helping people. But if you go into a room of 400 people that are at a seminar and you said, "Okay, guys, none of you guys are ever going to make any money doing this. You're only going to be helping people," you'll empty the room. There's just no way that can be your only motivation. So a little bit of a rant there, but it doesn't have to be about the car or the home or whatever, but it has to be about how do you get yourself into a position where you can do whatever you want. If you want to just help people, that's fine. Or if you just want to go on vacations, it's fine. Or you can help. My wife's mom, I can say this because she doesn't speak English, so she doesn't understand me. But She wants to be able to help people. And I told her, that's great. I'm glad that you want to help people, but you can't help people if you're broke. You can't help your church. If you want to help your church, if you want to help charities, if you can't help them if you're broke. You can give them your time, and that's cool, but you don't have time if you're broke because you don't have any money to make a living for yourself, to sustain life. It's a vicious circle. So again, it's all about developing skills. Don't be angry at people that have more than you. Find out what they're doing and do the same thing.
Yep, absolutely. It's all about building wealth. That's really what it's all about, and that could mean million different things to different people. But it's really not about making the money. It's about building wealth for yourself. And for me, it's all about time freedom. I want to spend more time with my family and my grandkids. So.
Right. The bottom line is not the money, but you need that money to provide you with that time. I mean, it's a means to an end kind of thing.
Yeah,
the money isn't end all be all. If you just have money and nothing else, you don't have any friends, you don't have any family, that's not cool either. But it's kind of a means to an end.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to one of I don't remember if it's Rohn or Zig or maybe both of them, but if you I forget exactly how it goes, but something like if you want to get to where you want to be, then help enough people get where they want to be.
Right.
And you'll get there by default, pretty much. So.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. It's a great quote. So we're almost done the half hour here, guys. Give us one more. Let's do one more by Jim, and maybe you can find one that is one of your favorites.
Well, here's one actually by Dennis Waitley.
Oh, okay, cool. Dennis is a great guy. I like Dennis's stuff.
Yeah, so let me see.
I don't have any of his books, but I do have some of his stuff on audio.
Yeah. So let me find a good one here on this page here.
And I believe he worked with Jim, right?
I think he did, yeah. So this one's a little bit longer, but it is better to earn the trust and respect of one of your children than to gain notoriety or adulation of the masses. And I don't know if I pronounced that last word right or not, but
masses. Adulation?
Yep.
Oh, you did fine. That is wow. That's a very, very powerful quote, actually.
Yeah, it is. Big time.
Man, I have a 19-year-old son, so that kind of just hit me in the heart, because that is really true. I would much rather hear him say one kind thing and know that I've helped him than to ever worry about thousands of strangers. I totally that was pretty powerful.
You know what? Here's one more from Jim Rohn, which if you have an employee type of mindset, this is going to probably hit you right in the heart. But first time I heard Jim say this, is like, you know what? I like that a lot. So Jim used to say, things cost too much. Then his teacher straightened him out right away and say, the problem isn't that things cost too much, the problem is that you can't afford it. So that's when I finally understood that the problem wasn't it, the problem was me. So that basically means that, if you have the mindset of saying that things cost too much, then you have to get to the point where you have the money to afford them. So it's just changing that mindset a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you stay in the employee mentality, you're pretty much set at a fixed income for the most part, unless you're working a lot more hours, change your skills and move up the ladder, whatever the case is. But in your own business, the sky's the limit for your income. It's up to you, not somebody else, what you can make. So.
Right. I love that. It's not, and Lori, my wife, reminds me of that a lot, where it's like, we can't afford that. How can we afford it?
Yeah.
And that is pretty big. And I agree. There's a lot of financial advisors out there, and we'll get into this on another thing because we got to close out here. But there are a lot of financial advisors out there that teach you how to live below your means, and that's a load of crap. I just that is ridiculous. I don't want to live below my means. I want to expand my means. I want to be able to
Yep.
make more. And I'm not saying to spend unwisely. I'm not saying to go out there and buy stuff you can't afford. That's America. Welcome to America. People are doing that all the time, buying big screens when they can't afford to clothe their kid or put diapers on their kid. That's stupidity. But what I'm saying is that I don't want to cut back on being able to do my whatever it is, play hockey or go bowling or whatever. I want to find a way to make more money so that I can afford to do more of that stuff. And that's a change in mentality. Is like, am I going to do that when I can't afford it? No. But I want to figure out a way that I can afford to do that stuff. And that's a little bit of just a tiny shift that will help you tremendously if you can understand that.
Sure. I mean, you got to be frugal with your money, and you got to, you got to be smart. But the thing of it is you got to want, if you want to go cruising on your Harley 3 days a week, then you got to find a way to, be able to financially be able to do that. And, the home business industry is where you can get that. And it's just a matter of finding your niche and going for it. I mean, there are so stinking many ways to make money on the internet. It's almost ridiculous.
Right. Oh, you had to say about cruising on the Harley. I need to go do that. Maybe I'd go for a little cruise tonight. It's still nice out.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. There's a lot of ways to make money, and that's part of what we're doing this show for, is to help people with that. Obviously, some of these personal development shows aren't going to be as much about those kind of tools, but just a shift in mindset, which is huge and can. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you it will change your life if you can change your mindset a little bit, lose some of that old programming that you have about having to work a job 40 hours a week. It's garbage, and you don't have to do that. You can choose to do other things, and that's really what we're trying to get through by doing all of this stuff. So, Rod, what else do you have, and we'll close it out.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can suggest, the next time you guys are down, depressed or something, get on YouTube, do a search for Jim Rohn, listen to one of his deals for 10 or 15 minutes, and I guarantee you it's going to change your attitude. If it doesn't, then I think you have to be a corpse or something.
Right. And Jim's last name, folks, is Rohn. Rohn.
That's right. Rohn. Yep, Rohn.
And
Jim Rohn.
Check him out. So that's it, guys. That's our 30 for today. That is the Evening Buzz. And my name is Paul Charron. Thanks for listening. And that's my partner over there.
Yeah, and this is Rod Davison. I can't believe the first week is already done and gone, man. It just flew by like nothing, like crazy there. So.
Absolutely. So make sure you check us out on Facebook, guys. The Evening Buzz. It's facebook.com/Evening Buzz. The page is going crazy. We're getting a huge response for the Facebook page, which is really cool. And you can also catch us. The stuff's on YouTube. There's links all over the place here on Google Plus as well.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll join us live. Is there any questions, guys? I know there's a bit of a delay. Rod, do you see any questions there?
Let me look. Nope, I don't see any, but we'll give it a couple minutes just in case. And, theeveningbuzz.com will get you right to the Facebook page as well.
That is right.
So, yeah, hit us up there and, like our page, throw some comments in there if you're getting something out of this. And, if there's something that you'd like us to talk about, throw it in there, and we'll get it on our agenda. And
yeah, if you're getting nothing out of this, give us a suggestion. Let us know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't imagine them not getting anything out of it, because it's. I think we've delivered some pretty good stuff this week, and we're just getting started, boys. We're just getting started.
Absolutely, some special guests coming up very, very soon. So look for that in the near future. So I guess that's it, dude. No, nobody there. So again, I'm Paul Charron from Vegas. I'm out of here.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you guys later.
Have a great weekend.
Next Sunday at 7 p.m. we'll get started on next week.
Absolutely.